everybody. My name is Graham. So this just, I think happened today, if not yesterday, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, after cops don't issue Amber Alert amid sex tensions. So Milwaukee police have a history of being accused of not taking black missing persons reports seriously. This is big on a national level. It's also, I've talked about this, missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's the same thing with, or similar, I should say, with black women when they go missing. It's just like, oh, boy, we'll get at, well, they don't pursue it. If a suburban white girl goes missing, the federal, yeah, everyone, you know, everyone's involved, the media, where did she go, and all this stuff. So this has just happened, and I'm going to go through this whole story, but the neighborhood decided to take it upon themselves to go find these girls, and they did. And they found a house that was like suspected of being sex trafficking, and then the people inside just start shooting, I guess. They start shooting people. The police show up, and all kind of hell breaks loose, and then there's a van and the house get caught on fire. Which, okay, that could have just happened. People are pissed off. These girls got abducted. But the cops don't do anything about it. There's some people saying the police are involved in the sex trafficking. I don't have any evidence of that. This is all supposition at this point. But I find it a little odd that a van and a home, that if they are places where people have been trafficked, there would be physical evidence. Weird that they just get caught on fire. Isn't that odd? Because I'm sorry, following this Epstein stuff, the trafficking, it's just too many coincidences line up. When they catch someone, they don't get all the evidence, or they only bust a mid-level person. There's all this stuff happening. So maybe that's why the police didn't jump to the rescue of like, oh, these girls are missing, because they knew they're part of it. Look, there's no way, and I've said this before, that you can have a multi-billion-dollar global pedophile sex trafficking ring without a lot of people in positions of power knowing about it. Politicians, cops, all these people. You can't, it's impossible. It is literally defies any statistical probability. It defies it. A pair of black girls were missing for days from Milwaukee were found by a search party of residents who banded together after police decided against issuing child abduction emergency alerts for them. Police spokesperson said the 13 and 15-year-old girls' cases had not been considered critical missing and did not meet the criteria for an Amber Alert. Yeah, the criteria is you got to be white. If you're white, then they'll issue an alert. That's the criteria. It ain't reform the police. It's defund. Get the way we police is broken. It's broken from the ground up. Get rid of it. A 13 to 15-year-old girl go missing. That's the only criteria you need. Oh, they probably ran away and went to their, and the cops would say, oh, if we pursued every time some teenage girl runs away. No. You have to be aware of the sex trafficking that's going on. You have to know that age of teenage girls, they get trafficked hard. And especially if they lived in a poor neighborhood, they're easier to traffic because the cops don't do anything. They traffic a suburban white girl, you're more likely to get tracked. A local photographer identified as Amanda Schiller Press offered her own account of the case, which culminated in reported safe rescue of the girls on Tuesday night. Press said one of the missing girls' mothers tracked her daughter's phone to a house and alerted police about it, but the authorities never responded. You can't even just send a squad car over and knock on the door and say, is this girl here? Is she safe? You don't even just that promoted a search party of civilians to get to work because they're used to the cops not doing this. So they're like, we're done. You don't want to help us? You kill unarmed black. Milwaukee Police Department was one of the, police departments that 3 weeks ago was just beating the shit out of protesters and shooting them with tear gas and rubber bullets. Gee, why don't we trust our police? You should need to trust our police more. No. You give us nothing to trust. A rich family whose dad's a lawyer or whatever, knows people within City Hall, they'll send a squad car over. A group of neighbors showed up at the house to knock on the door and look for the girls, and when they did, shots were fired at them from inside, press wrote. This is the journalist, the photographer. Then the police showed up, arrested the people who were shooting from within the house, but claimed to not see any evidence of the girls there and left the scene. She later added that the house is connected with a known sex predator, and it was suspected that the girls had been lured or grabbed for sex trafficking. So the neighborhood knows that this house is connected to sex trafficking, but the cops don't? So that just, if that's accurate, let's say the police have nothing to do with the sex trafficking. Let's just use that hypothetical for a second. That just shows you how bad this is bad policing. The good police work is working within the community. You know what's going. You talk to people. You don't just ride around in a squad car with a gun on your hip. That's why we need to defund the police and put more money into social programs. That's why you have peace officers who know people in the community and hear what's going on. And they don't have a badge and the gun. You need like maybe a SWAT team to be alerted if there's like, okay, this example. So this example, Graham, there's people shooting out of the house. Okay, so they go to this house, they shoot, cops are called, but they don't have guns on them all the time. And shouldn't we be spending more money to not respond after the fact that a child gets trafficked, but spending more money on preventative measures? Community outreach with parents like, hey, be careful. These are the signs of what traffickers try to do. They're trying to talk to your kids online, or this is what shouldn't that have been investigated? So that's just that's just showing bad policing, giving the Milwaukee Police Department the benefit of the doubt that they didn't know anything about this. How the fuck do you not know anything about this if you're a goddamn cop? Which then begs the question, maybe they did know something about it. Maybe that's why they said, oh, there's no evidence inside. No, there's no evidence of the girls here because the cops knew about it. Because some of the police are involved in trafficking. Great way to get away with a crime is to have cops in on it. A search party of neighbors, not the police, found the two missing girls. And two other missing children around 4 p.m. So just a group of a neighborhood watch group found 4 missing kids. Well, where the fuck are the police? Buying more tear gas? Polishing up their nightsticks? They were following neighbors' tips from house to house that appear to be a straight-up sex trafficking ring. They were doing this while dozens of police officers were on scene doing nothing but harassing and intimidating residents. This is the stupidity of the police department, or the utter corruption, or they're part of it. A bunch of people are like, hey, we got information. That house is sex trafficking. So the cops, what do the cops do? Oh, they turn on their dicks to the residents who were like, that's a sex trafficking house. And stupid fat-headed cops do this dumb bullshit all the time. They just refuse to admit you're wrong. I've had crimes happen to me, and a cop shows up and I go, those are the guys, like, sir. I'm like, those guys are getting away. Settle down, sir. And they tell me to shut up. That happened to me once in Las Vegas. A cop, black cop. He was fat. donut eater, showed up. My buddy and I was performing in Vegas, and he came to visit with this girl he was dating. We're driving around the strip late at night after my shows, and some car, these sketchy looking white meth head motherfuckers pull up and like, you want to go, bro? You want like, being idiots? We're like, man. And we get to a stoplight, they pull out in front of us and they get out of the car. And so we get out of the car like, I'm not going to just sit in a car and let guys punch me through a window. And then a cop car pulls up. And my first instinct was, oh, good, the cops are here. These meth heads jump in their car and peel out. And the cop doesn't go after them. But we're like, those guys were hassling us. And then the cop gets mad at me. That is typical stupid cop. Cops are morons. They're dumb jackasses. I've done the videos showing that they're hiring people with low IQs. That is just, sir. So that's a sex trafficking house. The whole community's up in arms because 2 kids are missing. And then you harass the people to call you for that. Fuck. How dumb do you got to be? Like, just a dumb police. That's just bad police work. Don't you go off of tips of the neighborhood? Isn't that what a good investigator would do? What a detective would do? Like, how am I a better detective just from watching cop shows than these dildos? Police on the scene started using tear gas and rubber bullets on angry neighbors who were doing their jobs for them. Wow, brilliant. Defund the police. They should. So a neighborhood in a matter of hours found a sex trafficking house. You show up and then shoot tear gas and rubber bullets. And I'm sure it was like, they were angry that somebody threw something at us. Oh, no, it was a bunch of black people and you showed up and just gassed them up. So sex traffickers are getting away while you're tear gassing neighbors that are trying to find children. Brilliant police work, Milwaukee. Brilliant. You beer guzzling morons. You stupid Packer fan morons. Milwaukee police, which only announced 1 girl had been found, said it cannot confirm allegations of a sex trafficking ring and an investigation had been started. Yeah, because it's within your department. Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales called it vigilanteism and an unruly crowd, despite them reportedly finding the girl. So this crowd did your job for you, Chief Morales. You idiot. And you blame the crowd. I'm so sick of these. First of all, we're morons. We should have found these girls. We should have listened to the neighborhood. 2 girls were rescued. You only said rescued 1. Idiots. They rescued 2 more, so 4 children were rescued. Then you're calling it vigilante justice? Well, if you don't like vigilante justice, then I don't know, do your jobs. This is why they need to be defunded. This guy's a moron. You're an idiot. You talk like a moron. You're dumb. Like, give this guy a golf cart and just make sure the mall parking lot is safe. No gun. No gun. A yellow shirt that says security. No authority. A walkie-talkie. And a golf cart that can't go more than about 6 miles an hour. This is vigilante, an unruly crowd. An unruly crowd. Well, Chief Morales, if your daughter was missing and the police did nothing, would you be ruly? Would you be yes, sir, no, sir? Can you ask yourself, can you put yourself in another person's position? Oh, that's right. You need to not be a dumb dildo moron to think like what somebody else would be. Like, resign, you're stupid, defund the police department. Get some people with like PhDs. Stop hiring people with low IQs. I told you that story in 2000. Courts allow police departments to block people with high IQs. This guy doesn't have a high IQ. None of these morons involved in this on the police department side had high IQs. 2 girls go missing. You don't put out an Amber Alert. The community says, well, we're not waiting to find out because everybody knows within the first 48 hours, if the kid got trafficked, they can be thousands of miles away by within 12 to 24 hours. They find the house. They get shot at. The cops do nothing except shoot tear gas at the people that want to rescue children. Am I the crazy one here? And then a fire started at the house, probably started by Milwaukee PD. Graham, what's your evidence? Look how stupid they are. This is either so dumb or it's deliberate. I can't get my head around how dumb this is unless it's by design. Some cops, maybe this chief moron Morales, is involved in the sex trafficking ring, or at least some cops are. Why are they protecting that house? They protected the house. They arrested the people with the guns, but then they protected the house and turned on the crowd. And then a fire started. And maybe the crowd started the fire because they were just pissed off, or maybe a cop did. All we saw for weeks during the George Floyd, cops slashing tires, cops smashing out windows. A police department that won't put out an Amber Alert and shoots tear gas at protesters that want to rescue children. Of course, it's not a crazy leap of logic to think that they would start this van on fire and this house on fire. So Chief Moron Morales, if you live in Milwaukee, let this moron know how much of an idiot he is and how there needs to be a full investigation from outside Milwaukee Police Department. Get a law firm with private investigators to investigate this, because I guarantee you, and if there's sex trafficking, people are going to start dying. Bodies are going to start stacking up. That's how sex traffickers operate. So maybe the chief is involved. Maybe the governor's involved. Maybe the mayor's involved. There's got to be some billionaire in there. Milwaukee's close to Ohio. Ohio is where Les Wexner lives. Milwaukee's a port city. And put those kids on a boat and get them across the border to Canada in a matter of hours. Freeways, Milwaukee connects to Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Those kids could just be scattered like that. Good thing you shot tear gas at families that wanted to rescue children. Way to go. And the only person really covering this is an independent journalist. The Milwaukee media is like, crowd gets angry, starts fire. Like, that's the Milwaukee media. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Vigilantism, unruly crowd. Yeah. If my daughter or one of my nieces got abducted, you better bet your sweet ass I'm going to be fucking unruly. Really unruly. You idiot. Defund the police. When we talk about that, what does that mean? What does that mean? Just no police ever and everybody figures it out? No. And vigilante crowds? No, that's not what I'm talking about. You don't like vigilante crowds solving crimes? Cut the Milwaukee police. Let me paint you this picture, this alternate universe. The Milwaukee Police Department gets cut in half their budget. And that small budget now, yes, there's some investigators for sex trafficking and make sure they're not actual sex traffickers themselves, because there's no way you can have all this sex trafficking without the police and courts being involved. There's no way. It's impossible. So you would have like investigators that investigate this kind of stuff. You have beat cops that don't carry a gun on their hip. They have it in their car in case there's like an active shooter. You have somebody for domestic violence, for organized crime. But then the rest of that half of money that got, you set up homeless. You set up, again, community outreach to make parents aware of where sex traffickers are, or how to spot them when they try to recruit kids. You spend that money on the homeless. You spend that money on education. You spend that money on drug treatment, not just incarcerating people who have an illness. The American Medical Association calls addiction an illness. So let's say all that money had been dispersed the right way. Does that sex trafficking house even exist in that alternative universe? This is why we talk about systemic racism. The black community was just mistreated from the whole get. 2 girls were abducted. We're not going to issue an Amber Alert. Hey, that's a sex trafficking house. Step back. We got it. Fucking do something. Whoa. Boom, boom, boom. Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for letting me, one of you made me aware of this, that this just happened in Milwaukee. Like, share, subscribe, spread the word, get it out there. Shave your knuckles for justice. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.